Broadcasting live from the center of the universe. It's Business School Without the BS. Featuring optometrist turned entrepreneur, Dr. Robert Zellner, with USSBA Entrepreneur of the Year, Clay Clark.
It is the Thrivetime Show. Let your boo begin. Where we drop knowledge bombs for you in Portland. Teaching the proven systems to make your ends. So you can produce the greenery like all the Oregon. Sue will call you Franklin cause you got Benjamins. We'll call you Ben Pearl cause you just bought a Benz. And then you'll be bragging to your wife and kids that your wallet's overweight but it used to be thin. Thumbs away, this is Clay broadcaster with the Zen. With the focus locked in like San Quentin. Can I get a B to the O to the M? You've heard the rumors, he is I and I is him. He be the Z and I be the C. Now it's teaching business skills from Clay to Z. We both grew up poor, but we're poor no more. The goal of the show is to help you soar. All right, Thrive Nation, welcome back to the Thrivetime Show on your radio and podcast download. Now, Dr. Z, we have so much to cover today.
So much goodness.
So much goodness.
It's almost embarrassing how much goodness we have.
Think about this.
The other podcasts and the other shows out there, it's almost like we should have a...
I feel bad how much goodness we have.
We should tie one of your arms behind your back just to make it fair.
Put a pirate patch, patch on it.
Maybe, I don't know.
Here's what we're going to cover today, okay? Let me tell you this. We have a unicorn event. Z, we have a unicorn that's being ridden by a leprechaun into a black hole.
Chasing a rainbow.
Right, and then this person comes into the studio, and then what are the chances of a unicorn being ridden by a leprechaun out of a black hole, struck by lightning? Now John Tom appears.
Whoa!
So John Tom is the super intern turned business owner, and the entire story, the entire way that we know John Tom really doesn't make any sense. And so I think I'll let him kind of start the story. But John Tom, can you explain?
First of all,
yes.
just as a side note for everybody listening out there, just as a side note.
Kind of a side order.
Anytime a dude has two names,
yeah,
you know he's probably, that's like he's bringing twice the heat.
He's got it.
Bringing twice the heat.
He's not only bringing the heat for a John, he's also bringing it for a Tom.
And his last name is Knight, like he's a knight.
Wow.
I mean,
the whole time.
That's
very regal.
That's very cool.
Very regal.
So John Tom Knight, I want to give you an opportunity to kind of share with the Thrive Nation. So how did you first hear about Thrive? Well, let's start this. Let's start at the end of the story, and then we'll work our way back.
Ooh.
What are you doing now as a result of having interacted with the Thrive team, myself, and the Thrive program?
Yeah. I am running the Chicago Real Estate Photography Company over in Chicago, Illinois. Me and my roommate are running the company. We're handling shoots every week, making sales calls, doing SEO, and really just taking Chicago by storm.
That's right.
Yeah, and I also graduated college. So
He
Really?
did,
I
yes.
did, yes.
Just
in
recently.
May.
Wow.
So if somebody's online and they're doing a search right now for Chicago real estate photography.
Yep.
Now, Z, this is one of our clients is top in Dallas. Look at this in Chicago. There's John
There he
Tom
is.
right there.
Chicago.
With 100
Bratwurst with every photograph we send you.
Top of the search engines. And John Tom, how old are you?
I am 23.
Absolutely top. Are you getting some phone calls?
Yes.
Do you like sauerkraut?
No.
Really? And you're in Chicago. You got to come up with a different.
Chicago dog. I can't acclimate.
Dude, you got
deep.
to acclimate.
Is it even ethical to not like that and be in Chicago?
Yeah, I
know, is
gotta
that
say, I didn't know this
I
about
put
you.
ketchup on it in front of me.
Deep
Make 'em
dish
watch.
pizza.
Oh,
Like
my
deep dish
gosh.
pizza?
Oh, I love deep dish.
Okay, that's half.
Okay,
That's halfway
You're
there.
back in.
Okay, you're back in.
You're
Okay.
back in.
So how did you first learn about myself and our Thrivetime Show business coaching program?
Just some casual internet stalking. I was going through Craigslist, found a job posting for a video editor position, and then that's the first time I saw it. I watched your YouTube videos. I recognized someone in the video. I contacted them, kind of asked them about the company, and then I just had it floating in my mind, and one day I was in a Target parking lot where I saw your Kim Jong-un SUV with Thrive's logo on it.
The Hummer.
And it was just like a beacon calling to me.
Now let me explain this to Z.
because Z can relate to this.
This is funny.
Z, do you ever find yourself
every now and
wanting
then
to go to? Z, do you ever find yourself
every now and then?
It's rare, but it happens.
Z, do you ever have conversations with yourself
All the time.
No, but seriously, have you ever, when you said, "Hey, let's meet someone for lunch or breakfast," have you ever suggested a weird remote location where most people don't go to avoid potentially running into somebody that you know? Have you ever done that? Like if someone says, "Hey, let's meet for coffee," have you ever suggested an obscure coffee shop so
Sounds
that the probability of you running into somebody you know is decreased?
Yes, of course.
I know a place
You
in
do.
Joplin.
Yeah.
You do.
Yeah. Oh, yes, of course. I don't do it all the time, but I do it some.
Well, I just did this on Friday.
Okay.
I said, "Hey, let's meet at Nordagio's," because I know that Starbucks. I'll run into at least 10 to 20 people I know every time I go to Starbucks. It's crazy. So I suggested going to Nordagio's. As soon as I sit down, someone says, "Clay Clark, you guys did my wedding." And I have two reactions that could happen. One is, uh-oh.
It's either going to go good or it's going to go bad.
Right.
And they said, "Oh, it was the best. You guys made our wedding incredible. It was the best." I'm going, "Yes."
Thank you.
50-50.
Well, then I turn, and the guy at the front desk is like, "Boom." I have the hat on that says boom. He says, "Boom, boom. I listen to your podcast every day. Boom." I'm going, "These are
Boom.
2 ups."
2 ups.
Then somebody outside
A big
was
shout
somebody
out.
they had to let go of.
Well, big shout out to Tord Nordstrom, though, the owner of that.
He's a great guy.
Great guy.
He's a great American.
Great guy.
He's a
Tord,
great
if you're
American.
listening, we love you.
He will not come into Elephant in the Room for haircuts. I don't understand it.
Well, he doesn't have a lot of hair.
Right, but he
He could come in for like a paraffin. Can you do
paraffin
like a
hand dip.
scalp paraffin?
a
dip?
paraffin head dip.
Yeah,
Paraffin head
dip.
swirly. Is that what that'd be called?
So all I'm saying is that I'm going to an obscure, coffee place sometimes to avoid. I don't go to the main places because I want to avoid folks.
Right, gotcha.
And so I'm in the parking lot of Target, trying to avoid humans.
At all costs.
And
I get it.
I'm reading a book. So I'm parked in the middle of the parking lot.
Right.
Between where
nobody
Panera
parks.
Bread used to be located, 71st and Garnett.
Yes.
Between there's a Chick-fil-A over there, and there is a Panera. I'm in the middle where nobody's parking. It's probably a Saturday, probably the mid-morning, whatever. And then this is what happens at my window. So I roll down the window of the Hummer. Okay, I roll down the window of the Hummer. I pull it down.
Because that doesn't stand out. That Hummer does not say, "This is Clay Clark over here."
Here's his picture on it.
Here's what happens. Well, if you're gonna have a car, it might as well be marketing, right?
I mean, might as
I gotta
It's
get
everywhere.
I gotta do like what Z does, where you have like a kind of an incognito Porsche. I mean, it could be anybody in that Porsche. Now, when
It
you
could be
put,
anybody.
Now, when you put the top down, it's a problem though.
It's a problem.
People know.
That's
how
when
you
the ladies flock.
That's yeah.
So,
Oh yeah.
so yeah, they always flock into
That
these
big
cars.
flock.
So all of a sudden, I get this knock at the window, and I go, and roll down the window. Hello. And do you remember what you said or how that interaction went?
Yeah, I do. I was like, "Hey, are you with Thrive?"
That was it.
I think I said, "I am Thrive."
He just rolled the window back up.
I gave you a copy of my book. It was with me.
Yep.
I think I gave you a copy of a book, I think that's what happened. Or maybe you had a book with you.
You had the one sheet, and then I actually
one
went
sheet.
and I bought the book on iTunes, and I read it on my phone.
Okay, got it. And so at that point, why did you want to reach out to me or our team? Why did you want to do that?
I guess I just didn't really understand what Thrive was exactly, and I was just compelled to find out more. I wanted to know what you guys
Let
were
me
about.
explain to the Thrivers what Thrive is if you're just now tuning into the podcast for the first time. We will teach you a proven path to create financial freedom and time freedom. If you want to do it, you will achieve time freedom and financial freedom.
Weird.
If you don't want to do it, then you won't. And then once we teach you what to do, we help you do it. We help you actually execute the back-end systems. Now, Chuck, there's a notable quotable from Eric Schmidt,
Right.
who was asked in a Fortune magazine interview what's the best advice he's ever He said, they said, if you could give your best advice to people, what is the best advice you've ever given to people? What's the advice everybody needs to hear from you? You're the CEO of Google. And he says what, Chuck?
He said, well, he was talking about how he got some advice from John Doerr, who in 2001 told him, my advice to you is to have a coach. And the coach he said I should have is Bill Campbell. I initially resented the advice because, after all, I was a CEO. I was pretty experienced. Why would I need a coach?
Quick timeout.
Yep.
So Eric Schmidt, the CEO of Google, talked to John Doerr. Now,
Right.
John Doerr is a venture capitalist worth about $7.5 to $8 billion.
Meh.
And he's behind the scenes, so you don't know his name. But he asked John Doerr for advice, and John says, you need a business coach by the
Right.
name of Bill Campbell. Continue.
Okay, and he said, am I doing something wrong? My argument was, How could a coach advise me if I'm the best person in the world at this? But that's not what a coach does. The coach doesn't have to play the sport as well as you do. They have to watch you and get you to be your best. In the business context, a coach is not a repetitious coach. A coach is somebody who looks at something with another set of eyes, describes it to you in his words, her words, and discusses how to approach the problem.
Time out. So Jeff Bezos ran Amazon for 9 years without a profit. And he was given advice, you need to hire a business coach. It's been 9 years, no profit. He hired Bill Campbell. Steve Jobs got fired from his own company, and his business coach was Bill Campbell. And Eric Schmidt, his coach was Bill Campbell. This guy is sort of like, he only had, like a half dozen clients his entire life. But he didn't really need any other ones. I mean,
yeah, exactly.
The half dozen clients.
You're name dropping. I work with Google. Okay.
Yeah. But to put that in perspective, what Shep just said, how many NBA head basketball coaches do you think could take any of their players, even the guys on the bench, and beat them one-on-one? Probably
right.
not that many, right?
Right.
Even like the number 12 or 15 guy on the bench.
Brad Stevens is a younger guy. So, Brad Stevens is, how old is Brad Stevens?
31, something like that?
Yeah,
early 30s, I think.
I think I'm going to go with later 30s potential. Let me pull it up real quick here. Brad Stevens, 1976.
I said closer to 30 than 40.
So I was born 1980. I'm 37. So he's 41.
41.
Oh, 41. Okay.
So he could still get up there and maybe, post up a point guard or something. But you're right. None of the coaches could beat the players that are on their team. That's
even the scrubs. I'd say scrubs. You only have 15. So even number 14, 15, pretty good. But
right.
my point is that they're not. If they waited for a guy, if Michael Jordan said, "I'm not going to listen to you, Phil Jackson, because I can beat you one-on-one."
Yes, I ain't going to listen to you unless you can beat me one-on-one.
And we just got through breaking down. If you missed those podcasts, you need to go back and listen to them. We broke down Phil Jackson's book, 11 Rings. But the point is that he wasn't better at them at basketball, but he won the championships with them.
Chup, continue.
Once I realized I could trust him and that he would help me with perspective, I decided this was a great idea. When there is a business conflict, you tend to get rat-holed into it. Bill's general advice has been to rise one step higher above the person on the other side of the table and to take the long view. He'll say, "You're letting it bother you. Don't."
So, John Tom, you decided to reach out to us and you interned.
Yeah.
Why did you decide to intern? Tell us about had you already implemented some of the systems in the book previous to interning? Just walk us through what made you want to intern for free.
After we spoke, I read your book, and I realized all of these systems they were a new concept to me.
Which book did you read?
Thrive.
Okay.
I read the Thrive book. And the idea of Meditime and the idea of a Dream 100 was like, it was a big light bulb for me. I wanted to go to school to study television writing. I didn't have the money. So
Z, check this out.
I created a Dream 100 of all the scholarships I could possibly apply for, and
awesome.
I applied to all of them. And I mean all of them.
And what happened?
I got 4, and that covered all of my expenses.
He used the Dream 100 system. And it worked.
Is that ethical? Come on.
It's kind of taking advantage, isn't it?
That seems like an unfair advantage.
What's crazy, though, is this is what's crazy. I have a lot of friends who are best-selling authors, and they tell me, they said, hey, one of the things I had to embrace is when you're a best-selling author, it doesn't mean that people actually read the books. People typically buy them, read the first chapter, and they go, that's a great book,
That's
man.
a great book. I read it.
Gosh, and so that was hard for me to accept, but John Tom actually applied the principles in the book and got college paid for. Chup, John Tom is a diligent doer, just like our shameless show sponsor here, Classic Janitorial. Now, Chup, have you been to the men's restroom recently?
You know what? I was there today.
And you go in there, and it's like the Taj Mahal.
Oh.
It's like the Porcelain Palace. Chup, it's so clean. It's so nice. Classic Janitorial does the janitorial services for Google.
Newstar.
For Newstar.
Yeah.
For DuPont. For the Thrivetime Show.
Handsome gentlemen to my right.
How do we get a hold of these great folks there, Chup?
You get a hold of them by going to theclassicclean.com, theclassicclean.com, or you can call them at 918-671-2046, 918-671-2046.
No negative emotion, cause that's what business is. Always dominate, cause I got 5 kids. I will not lose, I don't break but bruise. They can talk about me, I can take that abuse. But here is the truth, while they make that excuse, I'll be up grinding cause the scoreboard's the truth. He is my mentor, like my Yoda dude. He showed me the force like I was a young Luke.
Speaking of Star Wars references, Z, you let us last night we went out to go see the new Han Solo movie.
Took all
the new
the
Star
kids.
Wars. You took.
We went and had a little Mexican food. And,
By the way, I appreciate that so much. The kids had a great time.
Yeah.
You took my. Z actually, Dr. Zellner actually took the grandmas too. So my mother-in-law,
It was
and
a
my
whole
mom,
Clark crew.
Yeah.
been out there,
Yeah,
and we had a great time watching the movie. But I wanted to ask you, no spoilers. I know you are not the kind of man that would spoil a movie for people that hadn't yet seen it. But if you had to grade the new Solo movie based on your
perspective,
your objective perspective, give us your grade on a scale of 1 to 10 and tell us why.
I give it a 7.
A 7.
And there's always a thing when I'm at a movie theater. If I am at any time looking at my watch to see how much time is left,
then you know.
I know it's not a 10.
Can't be above an 8.
Can't be
Like
above an 8.
Braveheart. Now, the Braveheart, you've seen Braveheart, and when you watch Braveheart,
I still don't look at my watch.
well, you actually got to the end of Braveheart, and you just kept wanting it to keep going. Like,
Right.
you find yourself going, is there more? Come on, is there more up
4
there?
days later.
Cue up some more footage.
Come on.
You're wanting to watch the credits. You're wanting
We
to
didn't
see
get
all
the rest stuff for nothing.
Gosh, I mean, just so you're saying Braveheart's a 10.
Yeah.
Solo's a 7.
Yes, I would put Solo as a 7. What would you grade it at?
Well, my kids walked out with like
No,
a 10.
no, you, Clay Clark,
Fence sitter.
the guy with the boom hat on, the
Yeah,
guy
that's you
looking dazed and confused right now. You seem
on
like
the
that question
spot.
is really troubling you. I mean, I'm just saying.
A 5.
Ooh, wow!
I didn't see that coming.
Because it's like it was very good.
You had high expectations, though. At dinner,
That's the problem. I went
you
too
went
high.
on
Because
and
Ron
on.
Howard directed it.
well,
You
I was
built it up
expecting
too
like
much.
Cinderella Man. I was expecting it to be like, like Apollo 13. Like it was going to be a movie that was going to be the movie that would take Star Wars to the next level. And the guy who wrote the Empire Strikes Back wrote the movie. And I'm thinking, all of these variables. I mean, Empire Strikes Back, great movie. Ron Howard, great.
director.
I'm thinking I'm going to like have like Shawshank Redemption dumped on my head. I'm going to be walking out of there with a new perspective
Crying and laughing
to
at
how
the same
life works.
time.
Right. I'm looking for that Braveheart moment. I was thinking like this is going to be like that next level. I mean, this would be the last movie that Kevin Costner did that was good. The Robin Hood. I was thinking like that.
You didn't like Waterworld?
And I walked out going, this movie was good, but I was expecting a home run and I got a single.
Yeah, well, that's the thing about it is you had really high expectations, and mine weren't as high as yours. So I'll just
Right.
be honest with you. So that's why I
Now, if
probably
I had
settled
gone in
more as a-
expecting maybe like the last movie to be the bar, then I would have expected maybe I give it like an 8 or a 7. But I just wanted to be Apollo 13.
I know. To me, some of the best parts of the movie. No spoiler alerts here.
Yeah, no.
We're like early on the music and the memories and all the history,
The nostalgia.
and that they played off of, and then
The
all that went away
accoutrements.
as soon as the movie started. And then
Well,
they didn't. Anyway.
You know what? Though? Let me take it from a 7 or a 5 to a 10.
How would you do that?
We have John Tom on the show today. John Tom is a intern turned business owner. John Tom, tell the listeners about the Dream 100 system that you read in my book Thrive and how you're able to apply that to get your college paid for.
So the Dream 100 system, I guess the idea of it is to create a huge, massive net with the hope to get, I guess, just as many as possible, capture as many clients or whatever it is that you're the variable in the Dream 100.
So here we go. You make a list of your ideal and likely 100 buyers, the people you want to get. This is the dream list. If you got these deals, it could change your life.
It would be huge. Huge.
Yeah, I mean, Chup on tomorrow's show, we're interviewing Muggsy Bogues.
That's true.
Now, Muggsy Bogues, that's game change. I remember cheering for Muggsy Bogues. So you put him on
Man.
your list. I mean, the book Made to Stick by Chip Heath. I mean, that's a great book. It's a New York Times best-selling book. I remember reading that book. They're going to be on our show.
I did it, Clay.
You did it.
I put Mark Grace on the
Mark
list.
Grace, Chicago Cubs.
I put him on the list.
Mark Grace, Chicago Cubs.
Moonshot,
See, here
dream
we go.
shot. Here we go.
No. You will be on the show,
You'll
Mark
be on the
Grace,
show,
Chicago
Mark Grace,
Cubs.
Chicago Cubs.
No. We've got him on the list right now. So he's on our list for the Thrivetime Show. We want to interview him. So you make a list of 100 people that you want to have, that you want to gather up as clients. Now, Chet Holmes, can you read the notable quotable from The Ultimate Sales Machine, the book where Chet Holmes introduces the Dream 100 system to the world?
Yes, he says best buyers buy more, buy faster, and buy more often than other buyers. These are your ideal clients. Have a special effort dedicated to just the dream clients.
There you go.
Z, I'd like to pick on, let's go with Regent Bank.
Okay.
Regent Bank, when you decided to invest in Regent Bank. And
Whatever happened to that song you wrote for them, by the way?
Regent Bank, oh Regent Bank. I'll tell you what happened. The sound bank that we use to play these kind of songs is being moved tonight.
Resetting.
So it'll be over here soon, and I'll be able to hit these buttons. And we'll be able to bring back that nostalgia.
Oh, yeah.
It's going to be Back to the Future. It's going to be awesome.
Oh, yeah.
So, but when you guys, when Sean Copeland came to you, the head of Regent Bank, the CEO, the president, the guy with the title.
Yeah.
He came to you and he says, hey, would you want to deposit money? And the bank he was currently working at, I believe, is the Legend.
Yes, he tried to. I was speaking at one of those kind of places you speak, like a Christian businessman's lunch or some kind of businessman's lunch.
And you were on his Dream 100 list, I'm sure.
Yes, I was.
Right. Okay.
So he approached me, glad-handed me, passed me his business card, and was trying to get my business. That's what you do.
That's what you do.
That's what you do.
If you don't want to be unemployed, you're
it's the move.
Right.
And I said, well, why would I want to switch banks? You know what? I'm tired of switching banks.
Let's
go buy a bank.
Let's go buy a bank. Now, he's saying to you, he says, hey, why don't you deposit, a couple $100,000 in this account or whatever you want to do, move over your savings. And you said, hey, let's just buy a bank.
Yeah. The next move I do is going to be to a bank that I have ownership in.
And so you guys bought the Bank of Nowata, I believe.
They just rebranded it Regent Bank.
Regent Bank.
They were very dry.
Very. And then we opened a branch office in Tulsa, Oklahoma, which, of course, is kind of now our headquarters. But
bank is now worth over $400 million, is my understanding.
Yeah, I mean, they were just charging, so it's doing really well.
Obviously, a lot of suckers there. They're buying a lot of suckers, giving
handing out a lot of
premium
toasters,
suckers, a lot
toasters.
Toasters, koozies, all the things. No, but so you guys over there at Regent Bank, I'm sure you served on the board for a while. I'm sure you guys make a list of the people you want to gather up, the business owners that you want to invest in the bank, to deposit money in the bank. I mean, did you guys make a list, or are you just randomly going out there?
Yeah, we made a list and went after them, and surgically sniped them
with a laser.
What I want to do is I want to talk about this because you guys, any of the business ventures that you're involved in, you get rejected all the time, but yet it doesn't bother you. But a lot of people who want to be entrepreneurs, we'll call them wantrepreneurs. Juan, what is your name? My name is Juantrepreneur. None of our listeners, but people out there who are the friends of our listeners, they go out there and they make their Dream 100 list and they get rejected like 90 times, and all of a sudden they get all emotional.
Exactly. So you can't. The first few times you do. But you get over it.
You get over it. And so we come back from the break. I want for you to share with us a story about how you made a Dream 100 list and you relentlessly went after someone. And I want to hear about the deal that took the longest for them to submit and to become a big client of yours. Because at your birthday party, I ran into people that were on your Dream 100 list who are now your friends, and they repeatedly told you no at one point. Also, if you're listening right now, I want you to stop rejecting one of our show sponsors.
Just don't.
Stop it. Come on. You're on their Dream 100 list. Go ahead and sign up with Onyx Imaging today to have them deliver your printing supplies and your office supplies direct to your office. You can save time and money by having your office supplies delivered direct. Submit and sign up today with onyximaging.com. That's onyximaging.com. Save time and money on your office supplies.
And now, broadcasting live from the box that rocks. It's the Thrivetime Business Coach Radio Show.
It's time for higher learning and higher earning. Taking you to the top like we're hiking Mount Vernon. We're changing the mindsets like we're incense burning. Passing on the magic like our name was Irvin. Serving up that knowledge like I was a servant. And I cite what I say so you know I'm not a servant. The Thrivetime Show, bringing the heat while fervent. Giving it to you straight in a world that's swerving. Stacking the cash, making the dash. Earning the plaques, bringing them back. Bring me the track so I can get up on the mic and speak the facts. Stacking the cash, making the dash. Earning the plaques, bringing them back. Bring me the track so I can get up on the mic and speak the facts.
Boom, 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 and boom. Dr. Z, I'm so excited because today we have an incredible member of our listening audience who became an intern and now is a successful business owner up there in Chicago.
I'd like to say a win-turn. That's what he's capable. He's a winner and an intern.
John Tom, I want, before Dr. Z shares his story about the Dream 100 and the longest, hardest fought battle he's ever had to fight to win the Dream 100 list. Can you explain again from your perspective what is the Dream 100 system and how have you used it for your betterment?
The Dream 100 system is a system developed in order to get as many of your ideal and likely buyers as possible. So you would make a list of the ones who would absolutely change your life, who would get you to where you want to be, and then you call them until they cry, die, or buy. And then you have those clients. You get the ones out of the Dream 100, and I believe on average it is 1 to 2%, or you said 2 to 3%.
Right.
Yeah, Chet Holmes said in the book, The Ultimate Sales Machine, he found about 3%. And either way, I would just say it's a lot of rejection. And I'll just tell you some people that have rejected me in the last week. There's some good ones here. You know, Jeff Bezos rejected me this week.
I'm sorry.
We asked him to be on our show, and a member of his team said no.
I think Missy Elliott did too.
Yeah, Missy Elliott. Work it, work it. I need a glass of water, Work it. I got rejected by Missy Elliott this week. Got rejected by...
Well, I tell them, explain what you're doing on our podcast, predominantly our podcast and radio show, because, all the radio shows
have the best
go to podcasts.
Guests. I want to. The thing is, I don't want to interview anybody. I want to interview the GOATs. I want to interview the greatest of all time. And so I've made... Now, let me just read off a few more people that have rejected me in the last week that we can all share. I mean, emotionally...
Now, did Jeff Bezos really reject you, or did one of his team members
No, one of his team members rejected me. I didn't even get rejected by the man.
Well,
I got rejected by the guy...
Is that worse?
You didn't even rate high enough to get rejected by him.
Andreessen Horowitz, the top venture capital firm in the world, has rejected me. I think about this. I mean, it's kind of... Sometimes you get rejected and you're going, gosh, I got rejected by... some pretty awesome people on this list. I mean, Chef, have you looked at this list here?
Yeah, I was looking at it today. I know Missy Elliott jumps out at me.
Robert Kiyosaki's shut me down.
Yeah. Really?
Rich Dad,
Come
Poor
on,
Dad.
Bob.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like at some point he'll be... I have had a conversation with Sharon Lecter, the co-author of that book, before. I've talked to her before. I got rejected pretty intensely by just the Patriots in general.
Yeah.
If you want to interview any of their current players, you have to go through their front office. They control the message.
They control.
And so I've been shut down pretty. Now, if you're a former Patriots player, I'm having a little more traction there. But
wide open.
Current players, I mean, there's just a lot. I mean, Sharon Lecter, I mean, she hasn't said no yet, but she hasn't said yes yet. You think about, oh man, look at this list here, Chup. There's some pretty good ones. I mean, Mark Grace hasn't rejected us yet, but he hasn't also called us back to say yes.
That's right.
50 Cent, the rapper,
50.
No rejection, but no real response back. I feel like. 50? This is Clay. I feel like I might have missed your call.
Did you?
Did you call from a...
see my text?
Yeah, so I don't know. Dana Carvey. Dana Carvey's rejected me.
Submit, Dana.
Larry King rejected. Tony Braxton, R&B artist, rejected me.
Wow.
Tim Tebow's rejected me.
Oh, no, not Tim.
Yeah, no.
If he knew you, if he knew us the way we know us.
I feel like what he's doing is he's just mimicking what he's feeling. He's been rejected a lot at the professional
That's
football
called
level.
projection.
He's projecting. Yeah. Drake has been rejecting me. Slick Rick, the rapper. I mean, Slick Rick, come on.
Not
Slick,
Rick.
Slick, you need a gig right now. Come on. I mean, Big Boy, the rapper. Steve
Did you reach out to Ron Howard?
Ron Howard's on the list.
He's on the Dream 100. He's got to be on the Dream 100.
RZA, the hip hop producer for the Wu-Tang Clan, has rejected me.
Did we ever hear back from Gary V's people? Is he going to come talk to you or not?
I think Dan Cathy with Chick-fil-A has rejected me. I've had a lot of solid rejections lately, but here's the thing: is I don't care.
You don't care.
So Z, help the listeners get into the mindset of guys like you and me who just don't care. We're going to aim for this. We're going to do moonshots. And if we miss, we're going to hit some stars because we have some great people on the show that have said yes. So just get into your mindset.
Here's the thing you've got to get your head wrapped around, okay? Those that are with you are with you.
Those that are with you are with you.
And those that are against you, forget about them.
Whoa.
So what I mean is, like, the few that have responded that are going to be on the show,
right?
We celebrate. We have a great time. It's awesome.
It's the best. Woo!
Yes, they're with us. And the ones that say no to you, you don't stew over them. You don't sit there and go, I wonder why. I want to say no. I can't understand that.
You can't worry about it.
They can't fret and worry over it and think this is
an emotional coaching moment because I'll just give an example. We had a guy come into the Elephant in the Room the other day and have a bad experience.
He
writes bad reviews.
Oh my!
His friend comes in, has a bad experience, writes bad reviews. I find out that both of them are friends on Facebook with our number one competitor.
Shocking.
But everybody in our office is like lamenting. They're upset. I've had at least 5 or 6 people tell me, gosh, we really disappointed them. People are like wondering, are we doing a good job? Are we trying? Should we completely
should we go on?
Reinvent the systems?
Yeah.
So Z, tell us a story, a deep, dark story where you got rejected so much.
Here's the thing about it. When we first bought the bank, because that's the one we kind of started on.
Yeah.
We bought it at the worst possible time.
right when the economy was ready
It was
to
like the
crater.
economy was crumbling.
Right.
I mean, it was like 2008, and it was like, the homes, the world. I mean, you wondered.
The mortgage-backed securities were collapsing in the portfolios
It was
of
a
everybody.
sand beach underneath your feet, being
dogs
washed
and cats
away.
living together. It was chaos.
It was chaos.
Chaos, I tell you. Chaos. And you're sitting there going, you've got a Dream 100.
Right.
And you want to go out and find investors. But as soon as you start talking and start showing them your numbers and how well you're doing not doing very well. Then all of a sudden you lose them. So now you have this funny little feeling about yourself going, we really have to make sure that what we're trying to sell them is actually pretty good.
Right.
I mean, that they have confidence in us. And so it took us a few years and that was very frustrating, before I could even really go after my Dream 100. You following me? I mean, we had to batten the hatches.
Batten down the hatches.
Batten down the hatches.
That's it.
Those hatches were
You
all
had
over
to
the place.
slap down some hatches.
I mean, those hatches were crazy.
The hatches were loose.
They were
You had to
running
tighten
amok.
it down.
You can't go around with bad hatches.
No, you can't
I'm just
do it.
telling
That's
you.
a problem.
We had to batten those things down, and so then you start the work. But now they have the bad history of not doing well. And so then you have to. It's work, and when you're in there working, and you're in there working, and you're in there working,
work. Aziz working.
And then you finally start having some success. You're doing well. You're rocking. You're rolling. And now you go to them, and you've laid the groundwork, and you said, okay, you've thrown out a few fleeces. You've said until we're doing this well, or until this happens, you're not going to get involved. And guess what?
Chicken
Ding,
butt.
ding. That's right. And so the think about it as persistence. It's not only persistence on the Dream 100, but you don't just take one no. I love what you said, John Tom, and that's what we preach and practice, and that is you work them until they do what? 3 things.
Cry, die, or buy.
There you go.
That's how
Hopefully
you do
buy.
it.
Hopefully. That's it.
Yeah, so you walk in their office with a shovel,
But
and
I mean-
and you lay out their 3 choices.
But I mean, ethically,
You choose.
if the person on your list is deceased, it's kind of a little bit over the line to keep calling. But if their surviving spouse may be interested, I mean, I wouldn't take it off the list entirely.
Can we
Now,
get that card?
now, if you're, can we get that credit card? No, are you saying you're still interested? If you're listening today and you want to get your accounting fixed, you want to become proactive about your accounting? I know you do. Go to hoodcpas.com. That's hoodcpas.com. Become proactive about your accounting with hoodcpas.com.
You are now entering the dojo of Mojo and the Thrivetime Show.
Can I kick it? Yes, you can. 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 This is Clay Clark on the mic again. Myopic focused tunnel vision. I'm focused on the mission to teach you the skills and give you the plans. Broadcasting from my lands to the left, to the Portlands. I'm here to tell you can do it. Yes, you can. And now, my friend, you got 2 fans. Hit me the Z, comma, and I'll be the C. Yes, and now let's kick it like Batman, bam, and get a little nuts like pecans. I'm fired up for this particular segment. Do you want to know why?
You made a comment as we were getting ready to go into this segment. You said that this is going to be Ron Howard-ish good.
Right, Ron Howard, the legendary producer of Apollo 13, of The Cinderella Man, great producer of the new Star Wars movie. And I want to say this because I think maybe the listeners, some people listen to lyrics, some people don't. You do have 2 fans. With Chup, you have 3 fans.
Ooh, wow.
There's not a lot of people in the world that believe in what you're doing, but you have 3 fans, but you've got to get a little nuts like pecans.
Like pecans.
You have to get a little crazy because what happens is if you're out there thinking that somebody else is going to believe in your idea, it's not going to happen. Furthermore, when you go out there and meet with people and you share with them your ideas, everybody asks this freaking stupid question all the time. They say, do you have any traction yet? How's it going? Do you have any traction yet? How's it going? Because everybody wants to be a bandwagon fan. Everybody wants to join in with you once you've reached
Once you're winning.
success. Once you're winning.
Right.
And I don't sit there and make a list of it and dwell on it and think about it, but I can tell you it's so funny how many people have told me that my idea to start DJconnection.com was stupid.
Stupid.
I mean, so many people I went to college with said, it's a dumb idea. What are you going to fall back on? Then when DJ Connection's doing 4,000 events a year, weddings, birthday parties, that kind of thing, I got a friend. I got a friend who was a banker. He gives me a call. He's working at a bank, and he says, hey, do you think you could hire me? And I think to myself, Z, because it's funny how you remember certain events.
Yeah.
I think to myself, like, is this the same guy that told me the DJ business was a stupid idea? And he says, I said, why do you want to switch careers? Why do you want to switch from the bank to here? And he says, I just feel like it's like soul sucking. Like it's like I do the same thing every day. I'm analyzing risk. I'm a risk management analysis guy. I basically don't even meet the people that I'm rejecting or saying yes to. I'm looking up data.
Just reject them right at the
And
bat.
like what you're doing, man, it's just awesome. Like you are doing what you love to do every day, and I'd love to just be in an environment where I could love what I do, or at least be around somebody who loves what they do, because I literally hate my job. And I said, why do you do it? He says, because I had some college debt, and I went ahead and got my major in this particular industry, so I might as well do it.
Use it.
And this is what I said to this guy, and I won't get into any more details, so I don't reveal his identity. I said to him, if you did not have a degree in this particular industry, what would you do? And he said, music. And I said, in what regard? We got into this big old rabbit trail, and I encouraged him to quit his job and to go into music full-time. And to this day, he does music full-time. He actually lived on a couch for a while. He actually went without a lot of things that people would consider to be normal. He lived on a person's couch for a long time, and he became like a pro bono roadie. But long story short, he achieved his goals, and this is probably like a year and a half ago. He calls me randomly, and he goes, dude, I had to get nuts, and I appreciate you for telling me that, because like I was stuck in this desire to conform to everybody else, and you were like, I only listened to you because you had success, but like I appreciate that. And I just think that if you're listening right now and you want to start your own company, or you have a company, you have desires to open up in a second city, Z, don't you have to be just a little bit nuts?
You do, because I tell you what, if you're waiting for everybody else to cheer you on and tell you what to do, and they say, hey man, you should be rocking this concept. You're doing great, man. Go.
Go, man, go.
They don't. In fact, the people closest to you might even be jealous.
When you
might even be jealous of you.
Dude, when you put up your home equity, when you put up your home's equity to guarantee a business loan,
Yep.
Don't most people think you're crazy?
Oh yeah, they do. Absolutely.
But you do it.
You do it. Because you have to.
But people say that you put your home up as collateral to guarantee a
crazy.
business loan.
That's crazy.
Absolutely. Z, talk to the listeners out there about the importance of being the pig at breakfast. This is something you talk about all the time. It's one of your 10 core principles, but being the pig at breakfast. Then I want John Tom to talk about the Thrive Conference and how you're how we teach that kind of mindset at the conferences. But talk to me. What is your principle? This idea of being the pig at breakfast. What's that all about?
Well, the idea is that whenever you eat breakfast, have you had breakfast lately? I know you're not a big.
No. Recently, I've been having more breakfast.
Oh, good.
Hence the jowl line here get a little stronger.
It's the most important meal of the day.
Right.
But at breakfast, the pig is committed because he gave his life to have bacon, ham, sausage.
He died for breakfast.
He died for breakfast. He was committed. The chicken, on the other hand, he lays an egg. He's a little involved. He says, maybe I'll lay one tomorrow. Maybe I won't.
Right.
And so the idea is that when you meet a young person or a person that is starting a business and they are fully committed,
right,
the odds of them being successful are much higher than someone says, I tell you what, I hope this doesn't interfere with my golf game, but I'm going to start this little...
I'll do it, whatever it takes, just not that.
Yeah. I mean, Saturdays, really, I got to work on Saturdays. I'll just kind of get someone to work it.
I would do anything for love, but I won't do that.
So the thing about it is commitment. When you get the mindset as an entrepreneur and you say to yourself, you go from I hope this works to this has to work, and I'm going to do whatever it takes to make it work. Wait, I'm not sleeping as much? Yeah. I'm working 7 days a week? Yeah. I'm working on a weekend? Yeah. And the thing about it is, and then you have that balance of maybe you still have to have your other job while you're starting your business. Maybe you have a family that is, like, hey, Dad, remember us? We're actually your children. And you have all these things you're juggling. And so what happens is those things that are time suckers, the 5 hours of TV the average American watches?
5.2 hours
Sorry.
a
Oh,
day.
sorry. Don't forget
tell you
the
this,
point
Bjorn.
two.
I just wanted to call you out,
Oh, my
Bjorn, because
goodness,
a
I
lot
tell
of
you
our
what.
listeners.
Get the Aga. Let's get the ice going.
Don't you know?
Okay, so my point is that, some of the things that you do on the enjoyment side is your recreational, is your unwind, is your, man, bro, I just need like a few hours a day to just Facebook, to just kind of unwind. Those things, guess what? They go on the back shelf. And then whenever you get success, then you can Facebook, Bookface, my
Space.
Insta,
You can start your own
Snap.
Insta, Bookface, Snap,
you
YouTube,
can do,
Twitter.
You can do all that stuff you
Right.
want all day long.
So let's talk to John Tom here, because John Tom decided to attend our workshop after you first approached me, knocked on the window on the Hummer, and you asked me to kind of pick my brain. Then you became an intern. Then you decided to attend the conference. What happened at the conference? What was the magic moments?
For the big breakaway idea of the conference was the systems that were taught. The idea of the systems. I knew MetaTime and I knew Dream 100, but I didn't really understand the whole concept that an entrepreneur is someone who provides a service for a monetary compensation.
An entrepreneur is somebody who solves a problem for somebody in exchange for monetary compensation.
I had never understood it like that. I had always imagined a business owner had to be, I don't know, endowed with this magic...
A cape.
A cape or something
wand?
special.
Yeah.
And
Often a
that
wand.
just wasn't who I was.
This is good.
But when I learned about the growth mindset, when I learned about the systems, and when I learned about what an entrepreneur is, I just had to understand and realize how I could put my own skill set to become a business owner. And so I wanted to intern to learn more about business, because I didn't learn any of that in college at all.
When we come back from the break, I want you to get in depth into... I really want to give you almost the entire segment to talk about your internship, because you actually have worked in the Thrivetime Show offices. We're located off of the Riverwalk in beautiful Jinx, America, on the left coast of the Arkansas River, and you've worked there. And I want to hear you share about the decor, the atmosphere, the meetings, the intensity.
I want to hear your timeline, too. I want to hear, like, whenever you...
Yes.
From the knock on the window to today. I'd like for you to break down. I think everybody out there listening to it would like to break down the timelines, like how long were you here, how long were you there, but because you've got a lot, since that knock, you've gotten a lot of stuff done. So that'd be kind of fun to break down the timelines. So be thinking about that during the break, okay?
Now, Chup, can you read the notable quotable from Brian Tracy?
Brian Tracy. He says, "No one lives long enough to learn everything they need to learn starting from scratch. To be successful, we absolutely, positively have to find people who have already paid the price to learn the things that we need to learn to achieve our goals."
So as an example, this past weekend, my wife decided to hand dig a well.
This is an awesome story about
So she goes on YouTube, learns how to do it, buys all the things needed to do it. She drills down 15 to 20 feet into the earth till she finds water and drills a well. True story. But while doing that, she was attacked by bees. We had these bees all over our property, I guess.
Bees in the car.
And the bees start chasing around. Bzz, bzz. And so you know what I did, Chup? I decided to remove the bees, but I decided to not try to reinvent the wheel. I decided to reach out to somebody who's already very familiar with how to remove bees, Chup.
Smart.
Chup, tell us about who I called.
Well, I'm imagining that you call it Platinum Pest and Lawn.
That's right.
Platinum Pest and Lawn. You got to get a hold of these guys, platinum-pestcontrol.com, platinum-pestcontrol.com. They're actually doing free termite inspections right now. If they find damage, they're going to do $200 off your termite treatment. Free termite inspections, 918-376-0857, 918-376-0857.
Attend the world's best business workshop led by America's #1 business coach for free by subscribing on iTunes and leaving us an objective review. Claim your tickets by emailing us proof that you did it and your contact information to info@thrivetimeshow.com.
All right, Thrive Nation, welcome back to the Thrivetime Show on your radio. My name is Clay Clark, and I was absolutely put on the planet for this moment with you. I know there's so many people out there that say, I wish I had a mentor. I wish I had somebody that could show me the proven path, and this is why Dr. Z and I do this podcast. I just want to make sure you're getting this. If you Google Elephant in the Room Men's Grooming Lounge, if you Google oxyfresh.com, if you Google Dr. Robert Zellner and Associates, if you Google Z66AA.com, if you Google Regent Bank, if you Google Epic Photos, if you Google all these businesses that we're involved in, And there's many more. MakeYourLifeEpic.com. If you Google Dr. Z's Sleep Center, if you Google A to Z Medical, there's all sorts of reasons that we don't need to do this show. But the reason why we do this show is because we believe in you, and we know that in this world of it's the information age, there's so much misinformation, and most of it is happening at college campuses. There's so many misguided college courses, these entrepreneurship classes that don't help, YouTube videos that don't make sense, books that are not actionable, TED Talks that just leave you wondering, what is the meaning of life? And so we get together every day for 2 hours of power. And Z, I want to ask you, why do you do this show? Why are you so passionate about mentoring our listeners?
Because someone has to be the guardrails on the show. someone has to parent the show.
Right, that's right.
I mean, that's right. It's the parent of the show. No, what happened was, it was a beautiful, wonderful thing. About 3 years ago, you approached me and said, listen, I had mentored you a little bit. Your wife had worked for me, and you came in with this great concept. And it's all about scaling. It's all about finding and something you're really good at, and then doing it and making good money at it. And then you say to yourself, you were being a business coach. You were probably the world's best business coach. I'd put you up. I would put you in a cage with any other business coach, and you guys have a business coach off. I mean, and my money's on you that you're walking out and he's laying there in a heat.
Because I'm wiry. I'm very wiry.
With that, you just swing your head at him. No, I'm just talking about
like a giraffe.
She came to me and said, listen, I've got this concept to scale business coaching, scale mentoring, because people learn by mentoring or mistakes. And I've been now very successfully business coaching, and I can only do one at a time.
Right.
I can only do one at a time.
Only do
It's kind of like a dentist. I can only pull one tooth at a time.
One time.
So what we did is we came up with a business school online.
Right.
Ooh. And we went around and got all these great mentors, great success stories.
Thousands of videos.
We filmed them in a fun way. I loved your term. It was edutainment.
Entertainment meets education.
Bingo. And then what we did is that was our building block. And then from there, we had radio stations contacting us, wanting us to make a radio show, which we've now done about a year and a half.
People wanting a podcast.
And then we turned that into a podcast.
People wanting a workshop.
We also add, it's kind of fun when we do just a straight podcast because we can get a little sassy.
Wild. Right. That's where those guardrails come down.
A little sassy. And then people wanted more. They wanted more. They wanted in-person workshops. They did. That was the funniest questions that we used to get early in the days. Are you guys for real? Is this really something?
Which is so crazy because there's nothing more legit than buying a piece of land. When did you buy your optometry clinic?
99. One of them was 99.
You bought a piece of land in 99 in the biggest mall in Tulsa, Oklahoma.
Yeah. And
it's a brick and mortar. There's nothing more legit than that. But because you don't have like 5 million Twitter followers and you don't spend your whole day doing bogusness, people want to know, is it real? With a DJ company, we're doing 4,000 weddings a year, but because I'm not spending my day writing some ridiculous blog talking about how I feel while taking DIY photos of how to make some
selfies all day long.
Right. I mean, people were like, is it real?
Is it real? So then we started doing our in-person workshops, which our next one is June 22nd and 23rd.
And it's blowing up.
It's so much fun.
We're expanding seating capacity.
Yeah, we have to. Because we don't want to turn anybody away.
Who are we to deny the people?
Who are we to deny them?
If you build it, they will come.
And then it went a step further, and people are like, listen, I don't want to search this. I don't want to search that. I want to shortcut it. I don't have a team like you have. I don't have guys to.
Can I borrow your team?
If I went out and got web designers, if I went out and got SEO
Can I borrow
managers,
your graphic designer?
If I went out and got like guys to make a video to put on my
borrow
website,
your video guy?
headshots.
Can I borrow your headshot guy?
Yeah. And so what we did is we said, okay, enough. We get it.
Enough.
You need more of us. We'll give you more. And so then we started one-on-one business coaching.
Yes.
And to do that, because you didn't want to do all the business coaching again, we've raised up these great business coaches. And one's on the show with us right now, Eric.
Oh, hello.
Butternut Chup.
That's me.
Right.
And so it's really evolved into this wonderful, and now we're being syndicated. We're just got picked up in Portland,
Oregon.
Hey,
I mean,
Portland.
things are going well. Now we had one of our listeners who decided to engage in a profound way.
Yeah.
First with interning. Second, with actually becoming a coaching client after seeing the process. So I'm going to turn the mic over to you. And I just want to ask you this. Okay. What was your experience like interning at the Thrivetime Show?
It was the most intense, mind-blowing experience I've ever had. I don't think I've ever done anything as long and as immersive as interning at Thrive. My first day, I remember I got to shadow you as you went through your one-on-one coaching sessions with the clients. Then going on there, we learned how to do SEO. I was taught.
When you were shadowing me with clients, every hour on the hour, I work with a different client.
Yes.
What did you think about that? When I was one meeting is with a fitness company, next meeting is with like a dog training company, next meeting is with a property management company, next meeting is with a dentist. I mean, what did you think about going from industry to industry? What was your initial, if you can remember, what was your initial impression of that experience?
You were saying the same systems in each of the meetings. It was the same principles that were being displayed in each of the meetings. Each company was in a different step in a different part of the process of building and growing the company, but you were guiding them through each of these processes.
Like it's a path of some sort.
Yes.
Share with the listeners out there, what is the decor? What is the ambiance? What's the culture of the Thrivetime Show offices?
It's pretty overwhelming. You walk in and there is quotes and portraits of successful business owners and artists covering the walls, as well as books written by great writers and business owners.
Do you know why that is?
I believe it is because you want to surround yourself with the mindset and the ideas of those who are successful so that you can try to achieve that success.
Z, can I take the show down to kind of a dark level, and then we go back up to a high
you going
place?
Darth Vader on me?
Let's go dark, and then we'll go back up to the top of the
It's
mountain.
like a roller coaster.
We'll go down into the cave for a minute.
love.
Okay, do it.
I have found that the world, as a majority, overall, is very negative and terrible. So if you will go on to CNN.com right now, I'm going to pull up CNN.com. I'll just pull it up on the big screen.
Okay.
Don't do it.
If you go to CNN or Fox News or something, so let's go to CNN first. So I'm going to pull it up on the big screen so we can all see it together here. CNN, it says, Alberto threatens Gulf Coast. Trump just put the me in his Memorial Day tweet. Elliott City still recovering from the flood. And it just goes on and on and on with negativity. You go to Fox News, it says, brave yet swept away, National Guard member missing as Maryland governor declares state of emergency amid mid-floods. You scroll down, it just keeps continuing with Starbucks to close all stores for employee sensitivity training. Good luck with that one. So all I'm saying is there's endless. No, they're not going to be able to fix that. I mean, come on now. That's a school system problem. That's a breakdown of the family problem. You're not going to be able to. Starbucks can't shut it down for a day and fix all the employees' sensitivities. It's just jackassery. But the point is,
What sensitivities do they have to fix, by the way?
apparently they had a person who was loitering in one of their stores who happened to be of color, so somebody told them they had to leave, and now it's become a thing.
Oh, my gosh.
And so all I would say is that...
goodness.
Well, also their hands are too sensitive to the hot cups of coffee.
All I'm saying is the world is super negative. And so I wanted to create a place where every day I would have positivity. That's for me. The second thing is Carlton Pearson, a mentor in my life, told me, he says, Clay, you don't spell words. Words cast a spell on you. And I thought, So I put those up everywhere in our office, and I'm never done. It's a constant quest. And the third is I think I'm naturally depressed. Like naturally. Just naturally. My nature, like my natural state is I wake up every day going, frick, it's 4 a.m. It's 3 a.m. It's 5 a.m. It's 9 a.m. No matter what time it is. Frick. 6 a.m. Then I wake up, I look at my list and I go, gosh, I've got all this stuff to do. And then I start doing it before I want to do it. And then once I start doing it, it's like inspiration is the reward I get for doing things. And all of a sudden I get motivated. I get that momentum. And then people around me start to say, dude, why are you so motivated?
Why are you so fired up?
And I wanted to find a way to share that and to scale that. And that's what our office is all about. Now, when you go into these meetings throughout the day, talk to me about the accountability that Jonathan Kelly and the other probably managers or people you worked with put on each person on the team. The strict regimented accountability.
Yeah, it's very simple. There's tasks assigned, and there's deadlines put to the task with the person who's specifically responsible for completing the task for the client, and the same for the clients who are at the meetings. They have to complete their tasks by the next meeting so the company can continue to grow.
What do we do when people don't do their action items? What happens?
They're fired.
Z, talk us through that. It seems
So mean. He's come to the
Z.
program so well. I'm in tears. I'm so happy. It's
If
like, son,
somebody
come here, give me a
doesn't-
hug.
has become the
Come in
best.
for a hug.
Zohan, if people don't do their job, we fire them. But in most American companies, people actually don't fire people. They just keep them for years and years.
Well,
and the resentment grows.
They have this silly concept that they've got to write them up all these times, that they've got to put all this time, they got to try to life coach them so many times, that they've got to try to rehab them. It's not their fault we didn't train them well enough. So
Eric,
they put it back on them.
When you didn't do your checklists for the bathroom, did you feel like we as a company did a good job explaining that to you?
Well, really, I thought I was only supposed to do the one part because it was very
Tell me about your family and all the personal things you're going through.
Tell me about your feelings. What are you feeling
How do you feel?
Well, my dad used to put cigars out on my arm.
Oh, and that's probably why
So
you
I
didn't
can't
clean the
mop the
bathroom. So
bathroom.
why don't we close down all of our stores for sensitivity training? What the crap?
Dude, that's just crazy.
Dude, if there's one store that violated the rights of somebody, let's say it happened, shut down that store. No. Shut down that person.
Yeah, send them to training.
Put their face on freaking CNN and say, this moron violated the rights of our customers. They're fired. This ridiculous culture we have where we shut down an entire national chain of stores to train. I mean, it's ridiculous. I watched the news the other day. It was probably, 8 months ago? Somebody on one of the airlines
Southwest? Yeah, I remember that.
There's someone on the airlines who dragged somebody off of a plane by their hair because they argued with them or something. And it's like, or Southwest Airlines, somebody on the flight was being unruly, and so the actual person who's working on the plane, I guess it'd be the stewardess, remember, this person tries to calm the person down, and the video goes viral, because there's like, sir, could you please calm down? And they're just like, it's like this bus station in the sky, people fighting and stuff, and they just drag Southwest Airlines name through the mud. That's a great company. Starbucks is a great company. You realize how hard it is to start and grow a great company, but we shut the whole company down for employee sensitivity. I mean, see, what about just shutting down the employee for employee sensitivity training?
That would be too simple. How much money are they going to lose on that deal?
Ridiculous.
Hello. I mean, it just makes me want to.
Don't do it. Don't do it, Z. Don't do it.
Z, if your back hurts, what you do is you don't shut down everyone around you for back training. You don't if you have a kind of a tingle, a pain in the spine, you don't shut down your entire family for sensitivity training. What you do is you take your body to Dr. John Sibley's. Chip, tell us about Dr. John Sibley's.
Well, Sibs there, he was the doctor for the
Sibs.
great one, Wayne Gretzky. If he's good enough for Wayne, he's good enough for you.
That's
Get
true.
a hold of him at drjohnsibley.com, drjohnsibley.com. Call him today at 918-749-5741. They're going to do a free x-ray, free assessment, and a free adjustment on your first visit, 918. Well, I lost the number. Get a hold of him at 918-749-5741, 918-749-5741.
No negative emotion, cause that's what business is. Always dominate, cause I got 5 kids. I will not lose, I don't break but bruise. They can talk about me, I can take that abuse. But here is the truth, while they make that excuse, I'll be up grinding cause the scoreboard's the truth. He is my mentor, like my Yoda dude. He showed me the force like I was a young Luke.
All right, Thrive Nation, welcome back to the Thrivetime Show on your radio. Now, this is a show today that has the ability to be a catalyst for you, to really motivate you, to push you to be your best, or to irritate you, and to allow you to realize that you do not have what it takes to be successful. Because
push you real good. Push you real good.
That's nice.
That's
Now-
what we do. I love that. We show you the path, and then every now and then it's kind of like, have you ever done bungee jumping or gone off a cliff where you need a little help,
Kick
just a
right in
little-
the back.
I mean, you wanted to do it. You signed up. You climbed up the rock. You're standing up there. Everybody in the boat's watching you. Now
When are you
it's
gonna
summer
jump?
lake time.
Come on, you got to jump.
And you're up there, and
if I can jump.
you're thinking, this was a bad idea. I don't want to do this.
Right?
Is it really deep enough down there? All the things go through your mind. Then all of a sudden you look at your buddy and say, "Go ahead and do it." Give me I just need just a little push.
So this is the show that hopefully is a catalyst for somebody out there. So, John Tom, you actually decided to knock on the window of the Hummer, approach me randomly out of the blue, talk to me. Next thing you know, you're interning in our office because you asked to intern. You're willing to work for free.
And how long ago was that?
That must have been May, about a year ago.
Yeah.
Today, or I think I started right.
Wow,
at the end of
June.
May.
So
Yeah,
your your whole story is a year, 12
Year,
months.
yeah.
Okay, this is good. All right.
So
folks,
after you've interned for how long did you intern with us?
June till about mid-August.
And make sure you just eat that microphone like it's
Mid-August.
a psychological problem.
Sorry,
Okay. So the thing is, so you actually interned for 3 months, right?
Yes.
3 months. So after 3 months of interning, when did you decide that you wanted to start your own company? Was it at the conference? Was it while shadowing? When did that moment occur where you said, gosh, I want to start my own thing?
It was when I was with shadowing you in one of your meetings. I began to it just clicked for me at a moment. I think as everything came together for me to understand this is something that I needed to be doing because I saw that entrepreneurship was really the only way that I know to achieve financial freedom and, more importantly, time freedom. Which is something I value very much.
Now, I remember you were interning and you said you wanted to attend a conference. Can you talk to me about the impact that a conference made on you? There's a lot of people out there listening who have never been to a conference before, and they've grown considerably since you've attended the conference. But explain, what is the conference like? Explain kind of that 45-minute sprint, the 15-minute break, the topics we cover. Just to share with us your perspective of the conferences.
Yeah, I love the structure of these 45-minute workshops that have a specific topic that we would be studying, whether that be meta time or SEO, whatever it be. It's 45 minutes within a 10-minute break that we can go and drink coffee or ask you any questions, one-on-one, because I have a very short attention span, so that was just perfect.
Can I
for
tee
me.
this up for anybody out there listening? Z, this is what's crazy. Psychology Today has study on this, as a lot of studies on this. It's not that you have a short attention span, John Tom. Everybody does.
People.
What did you say?
Everybody.
I wasn't paying attention.
Everybody in our culture today, not just today, but it's just how the human brain works. Most people cannot pay attention on a fixed subject for more than about 45 minutes if it's super interesting. Now, what happens is that when you drive to work every day, think about your trip to work. If you're listening right now, think about your last trip to work. Can you remember a single thing that happened while you drove to work? Think about the last church service you went to. This is discouraging for all the ministers out there. The top ministers, the top pastors, they engage people emotionally, and they're able to get people to intellectually, to mentally engage in the entire sermon. But if you don't emotionally engage somebody during a service and you're a minister out there, people won't remember anything you said during the service. The cognitive load of the average person is about 15 minutes. That's the most amount of time the average person can pay attention, Z, unless they are emotionally engaged. Z, why do you feel like most people can't pay attention to something that's not remotely interesting for more than 15 minutes?
I don't know if it's changed. I don't know if this is an evolution of our minds because of all the things out there that are wanting our attention. I mean, you got to understand that most people are getting push notifications all day long. They're getting push notifications for their book face. They're getting push notifications for their emails, push notifications for text messages. The average person, how many interruptions or how many distractions does the average person have in the course of a day, Clay?
Well, right now, according to Psychology Today, it's 85 to 90. That number's climbing. 85 to 90 interruptions per day.
And that number's climbing. So if you don't insulate yourself, you've got so many things. It's kind of like, I've got a friend of mine, we tease him, we got a little attention deficit.
Yep.
And every now and then he'll just be like, looking over like, squirrel? Is that a squirrel over there? Squirrel, squirrel, squirrel. And how many of us are like, squirrel, squirrel? And so what happens is that if you really don't insulate, if you really don't understand that you have two ears and one mouth, and you really need to focus and you really need to pay attention, which is almost a learned thing. It's almost a learned thing. That's not natural for us to do that, unless it's something that's so captivating, like a cat video, Chuck, that you like to watch.
That's why our workshops are kind of like Jim Gaffigan meets business. It's a lot of fun. We laugh. We learn. John Tom, can you kind of explain the overall aura of the workshops, the decor, the ambiance, just kind of explain the whole, because somebody out there is listening going, I think I'm going to buy a ticket, but I kind of want to understand what it's like when I get there.
Yeah, you get there and you smell the pinyon wood that is burning throughout the office.
That's right.
The music is blasting through the whole office as well. And it's filled with comedy throughout the education.
Why?
It's very funny because it makes it more engaging. And it makes it easier for
And this just it. Most people, Z, will go see a movie because it's enjoyable. People will go get a hamburger because it tastes good.
Oh, wow.
People get ice cream because it tastes good. Shocking, but people actually do stuff they enjoy doing.
Yes.
So when you can laugh and learn, it's the ultimate combination.
It really is.
The academics, though, hate it, though.
Yeah, they do.
Well, this event wasn't reverent. I thought this event was supposed to be boring and formal, like college. That way no one will remember anything. Chup, can you compare the workshops to your college experience at Oklahoma State University?
Well, first of all, you're going to be listening to people who have actually done something in the business field and not just been teachers the entire time. And you're going to leave with actual practical action steps that you can implement the next day. You can get started implementing these moves and these systems and everything that we're going to teach you. And that is not my experience at business college whatsoever.
So what I want to do during the break is I want John Tom to kind of think about all of the things you learned while interning that allowed you to produce income, revenue producing skills. There are a lot of things you could learn that don't produce revenue, but I want you to kind of make a list of all the revenue producing skills that you learned. I'd like for you to share with the listeners, because a lot of listeners like this show because they laugh and they learn and have a good time. But I want to teach all the listeners revenue producing skills. And one revenue producing skill you have to learn is you have to make sure that everybody in your city knows the name of your company. So if you're looking to build a building for your business, you need to know the name Williams Contracting. That name is Williams Contracting.
Williams Contracting.
Chup, that name is Williams Contracting. Z, are you familiar with this company? It's called Williams.
I've heard great things about them.
Williams Contracting. Check them out at will-con.com. That's will-con.com.
Attend the world's best business workshop led by America's #1 business coach for free by subscribing on iTunes and leaving us an objective review. Claim your tickets by emailing us proof that you did it and your contact information to info@thrivetimeshow.com.
All right, Thrive Nation, welcome back to the Thrivetime Show on your radio. And on today's show, we have an opportunity to interview an actual listener who has decided to engage with the show in a way that is profound, it's not normal, and it's what we want to see more of. It's somebody who said, listen, I would like to intern. And I remember telling John Tom, we don't really have a position available, a paid position, but it's like, okay, I'll work for free. So John Tom worked for free as an intern for probably a week, I want to say, maybe a week and a half. And then that turned into a paid position because you were doing such a good job. And then that turned into you wanting to open your own company, and that turned into you now having a very successful company in Chicago. What is the name of the company?
The Chicago Real Estate Photography Company.
And what kind of revenue are you doing on a weekly basis right now? Like what kind of gross sales revenue on a weekly basis? Because the business has been, how long has the business been open?
The business has been open since August, so we're right at the 10-month mark.
So 10 months into the business, how much revenue per week are you generating right now?
I'd say on average anywhere between $800 to $1,000.
$800 to $1,000.
Yes.
So it's like a $50,000 a year business. Yes. And it's something you've just started. Mm-hmm. And talk to me about, because you're like at the beginning stages of something powerful.
Yes.
Talk to me about what are some of the revenue producing activities that you learned while interning at Thrive that you're now using to grow your company?
The holy grail that I learned is SEO.
Search engine optimization.
Yes.
So talk to me about search engine optimization. What did you learn while interning for Thrive that maybe the average person wouldn't know?
How to produce content that allows my ideal and likely buyers, when they're searching for my specific service, to put in a particular keyword or phrase, such as Chicago real estate photos, and for my website to come up first so that they can then give me a call and then I can be in business with them.
So specifically, writing content. What did you learn about writing content while you worked at Thrive?
I learned the formula to successfully write this specific content needed for Google, for the Google gods.
Does Google work differently than you thought it would work?
Yes, it does. I had really no expectations of how it worked. I imagined it was this all-seeing, mysterious
Amalgamation.
But I learned
It's the Matrix.
What about gathering reviews? What did you learn about gathering reviews and the importance of doing that?
It is essential to the perception of your company to gather reviews because we actively seek out reviews from our clients, from our friends and family who can validate the service that we are doing. It prevents some crazy upset person to give us one bad review and that to be the only perception of our company.
So how many leads a week are you getting right now?
I would say on average, the inbound calls, we have about 3 to 5 calls, I'd say on average a week.
What are you spending on advertisement right now?
On advertisement, I'd say anywhere between $40 to $60 a week.
Okay, so when you get a new client, are you starting to get referrals right now?
Yes.
Oh,
yes,
yeah.
we're getting our first.
Now, I remember when you
wave.
interned for us, I feel like you made some cold calls towards the end.
I did, yes.
Are you still making cold calls today to land new clients or
Yes.
no?
Yes.
So talk to me about learning how to make cold calls. Because I think this would be interesting for Dr. Z to hear. Learning how to make cold calls. Talk to me about what was going through your head when we first had you start making cold calls for companies.
When I first started with cold calls, I was definitely nervous. I felt like I was breaking some rules, calling people who didn't want to talk to me. But I just began to trust the system that was set up and to read the script and to read it in a way that it did not sound as if I was reading a script, but rather having an organic conversation with another human. And I use that to successfully set appointments to make sales.
Z, I want to talk about rejection and your optometry clinic. When you built your optometry clinic, you graduated from NSU and you went
Northeastern
on
State University, fine school.
and you went on to become the president of iMart, if I'm correct?
Correct. There was a year of my life,
Okay, and so then
Almost, right?
And
364 days.
Can I say how you left iMart? I mean,
I got fired. It's the only job I've been fired from.
And when you got fired, how would you describe why you got fired?
Oh, the quick and kind of the cute analogy that I use. It's kind of like if you married a gal that's got kids and you get along well with her, and the kids, when she leaves the room, the kids are like, "We hate you. Don't touch our mom. We're going to make your life miserable." And she comes back in the room, the kids are all like, "Oh, it's so awesome. The popcorn movie." And after a while, it just to get pretty bad. So I was at the home office. I was 30 years old, and I was president of a company that everybody there in the home office were...
How many stores did iMart have when you were the president?
24 we started, and we ended up, on the year that I was there, we opened up another 24, I believe, about 2 a month.
So you had 58 stores.
40. No, that's puts it to about 48 to 50 when I left.
And so when you got fired, how did you feel?
I felt motivated.
Did you?
I felt motivated.
See, this is interesting because that's how I process it too.
I felt motivated.
So when I get, sometimes silence is powerful. I'm just wanting to process this because when I get fired or rejected or told no or whatever that is, I immediately bounce back 2 times more intense. Immediately. And I don't know what that is because that's what I do. So it's like, my wife has joked about this, but there was a guy years ago who physically threatened me. And my wife was joking.
I'm sorry about that, by the way.
No, this is funny.
But you were being kind.
He deserved it.
No, let me explain.
You're good, man.
I was at a birthday party for a friend of mine, and a guy who started a company by stealing my customers was there.
Oh, nice.
And he made a statement about my wife, and this was probably statute of limitations, probably 12 years ago.
Okay.
So I would be 37.
You thought I stole his business now.
I was
just
25.
steal his wife. Yeah.
Well, he made a statement that wasn't positive about my wife. So I immediately grabbed him, threw him against this deck, and just went after him. I decided not to unleash haymakers, but I had him down, and it was like in the kill position.
Yeah.
And he was a little bit bigger than me.
Yeah.
And my wife goes, "I appreciate you for not throwing haymakers because you would have killed the man." And I said, "But he's bigger than me." She goes, "That's just, you don't get it. That doesn't matter."
She saw the look in your eyes.
Because she gets how I am
He's
now.
seeing red.
Sure.
And I think you shouldn't be an entrepreneur if that is not what you're willing to do when you get rejected. If you're not willing to bounce back 2 times harder when you get rejected, you should not start a
I was
company.
fired, and before I walked out the door, which wasn't a long walk, by the way, I was already formulating my plan. I was already engaged in the next. I was already engaged in what I was going to do.
Stoicism.
What is wrong with us, though, that makes us want to fire back 2 times with 2 times more aggression when we get rejected? Where did you learn that? Or is that just something you've always had?
I don't know. I mean, I grew up with a lot of brothers. Poor with a lot of brothers. I mean, that's a combination of,
I think that
how
actually
many
hits
brothers?
something, though.
Think about it. You could try the curl up in the fetal position and do nothing move.
Right.
And try that a few times and see how it does. or you could try the wipe it off, shake it off, what's next for me, eyes going forward, don't looking back, what am I going to do next, what's my next move, what are my options?
Do you feel like that's the same as Big Brothers? Because you could sit there and whine about it, but it is what it is. They're your big brothers, and they're going to keep beating the crap out of you. So
you got to go to play, and
you better figure out what your next move is.
You know, guys, when we come back from the break, I want to talk more about pushing back from rejection, fighting through rejection. But before we do that, I want to talk about somebody who's just dominating their competition. Somebody who is absolutely the number one choice in Tulsa, Oklahoma. If you have a Ford automobile and you need to fix your batteries, your transmission, your heat and air systems, your suspension and alignment, everybody is choosing RC Auto Specialist. Jeff, tell us about RC Auto Specialist.
RC Auto Specialist, they've got over 80 combined years of experience working on Fords.
Now.
They also work with a nonprofit called Little Loves where they help. It's a nonprofit supporting orphans across the globe. So get a hold of these guys at 918-872-8115. Again, 918-872-8115, rcautospecialist.com. Any Ford, if you guys have a fleet Ford, fleet of Fords, you got to get a hold of these guys, rcautospecialist.com, 918-872-8115.
3, 2, 1, boom! Broadcasting live from the center of the universe. Presenting the world's only business school without the BS. With optometrist and entrepreneur Dr. Robert Zellner and USSBA Entrepreneur of the Year, Clay Clark. Get ready to enter the Thrivetime Show on Talk Radio 1170.
Yes, sir. It's Z and Clay, broadcasting from the box in the 918. Business school and the topic today. Check the syllabus, is getting you paid. Making the business boom is what we do. You can do it, let us show you. I'm a father.
All right, Thrive Nation, welcome back to the Thrivetime Show on your radio. Today we have a listener who decided to reach out to us to first become an intern at the Thrivetime Show, then went on to become a client of the Thrivetime Show business coaching program, and is now inside the studio. We come full circle. And we're talking, Z, about becoming successful, pushing through the pain. And I want to get your final take on this, Z. If somebody out there is listening and they have found that they become immediately discouraged when they face rejection, what is the tough love mentorship that you want to we need to give them? If somebody out there says, gosh, every time I get rejected, somebody writes a bad thing about me on social media, a potential customer rejects me, I just immediately feel depressed, I want to quit. But yet
it takes one of my favorite actors in the world is Bill Murray.
Yes.
One of his early movies, which still happens to be one that makes me smile every time I think about
Caddyshack?
it. No.
Stripes?
Meatballs.
Meatballs.
And the premise of the movie, if you haven't seen it, you need to see it. It's a 30, 40-year-old movie.
This sounds good.
I don't know.
Yeah, Meatballs. Yeah.
In there, it's the night before the game against the rich kids, against the kids that have it all, against the camp that's over the top, obnoxious. And Bill Murray, in an attempt to motivate the team, in an attempt to motivate the kids, starts a chant.
A chant.
Okay.
Okay.
Everybody gathers up. Everybody gathers up in it, okay? And it goes something like this.
Here we go.
It's a great moment in the movie. If you haven't seen Meatballs, you should probably see it.
This is a shameless endorsement of Meatballs.
It is, and I am getting
sponsor
you
the
did not
show.
receive any commission checks for this.
Put Bill Murray on our top 100. We got to throw a line out.
Oh, yeah. Put him on there right now.
We got to get him on there.
I'm doing it right now.
But he starts to chant, and it goes something like this. It just doesn't matter. It just doesn't matter. It just doesn't matter. It just doesn't matter. It just doesn't matter.
Hey!
And the point is, when you get rejected, it just doesn't matter.
It doesn't.
Next up. Next on. Next up.
Some will, some won't. Who cares?
Who cares? Those that are with you are with you. Those that are against you, forget about them. Forget about them.
This is such a profound idea.
It really is. And the idea that you can switch gears and go forward and say, okay, that didn't work. What's next? And that's where you got to look at it. There's a reason why, folks, listen, the eyes are not in the back of your head.
Do you know why my wife is so hot?
They're in the front of your head.
Do you know why my wife is so hot?
Because she takes good care of herself, has good DNA. And
do you know why I went after my wife?
Because she's so hot.
She was a cheerleader at ORU. And
Well, that's what I'm saying, yeah.
She's so attractive.
She takes good care of her. She eats organic. She takes good care of herself.
I remember telling my buddies, like, she will be mine. Oh, yes.
Oh, yes.
Someday.
Did she ever reject you? I mean, really, full on. Did you ever get the early days?
Yeah.
How'd that look?
Well, what happened is that we have this thing called get your roommate a date.
Oh, yeah.
Get your roommate a date.
Get your roommate a date.
And so your roommate is supposed to get you a date. So my roommate was already dating somebody, so he didn't want to participate. So I reached out to my friend Jake Aldridge, who was a soccer player, Division I scholarship, full scholarship player at Oral Roberts University.
Bringing the soccer
and
stud.
Jake started sitting next to her, referring me. He's like, yeah, Vanessa, we have to get your roommate a date. My buddy,
referring.
my buddy is like.
So they dated for 3 months, and then
No, but Jake was dating another person. But Jake explained to Vanessa. He goes, God, my friend Clay.
He's a walking testimonial.
He's a great dude.
great wingman, by the way. This is the way you do it.
And here's the deal: is like he's like really focused on his business. That guy's going to be something. Like he's going to be huge. And I'm just telling you, he doesn't really. His roommate is like not going to ask anybody out. So I feel like almost like I have like an obligation to refer you. I mean, would you go with my friend? I mean, I could ask him. I don't even know if he's interested because he's so focused on business, success. He's going to be a rock star someday.
Yeah, and if you notice, his skin is so pale because he's always inside working.
So he books the deal. Now Vanessa's gone on like, I literally, if you ask her, I think she went on a get your roommate a date every weekend her entire freshman year, like probably like 40 dates.
A lot of guys swinging at that.
Yeah. And so what happens is that basically Vanessa she says yes because she said yes to everybody. So on our date, we're at it's Uno's Pizzeria over there by 51st, I believe.
Did you do any
Mingo.
intel research to see if she liked pizza, or why did you pick that place?
Well, we all went. All the guys took all their dates at one time to get your roommate a date.
Oh, I see.
So there's like 30 guys doing 30 dates, and so we go there, and all I know is like, gosh, she is just hot. But the conversations are going nowhere. So I'm trying moves. I'm like, hey, so where are you from? And she's like, Louisville. And I'm like, okay, well, so what do you like to do when you're not cheering? Read books. So and it's just like every conversation's like that. And I got
struggle mode. You're on the struggle bus.
Yeah, and all I would say is that every date she wouldn't really talk to me, and that's what made me. I'm like, I am gonna crack. I'm gonna crack this egg. It's gonna happen.
Crack this egg. I'm cracking this egg.
Long story short,
I'm making a souffle.
She tells her roommate after like the third or fourth date that she's gonna marry me.
Whoa!
But I never
Things
knew that.
escalated quickly there.
But I never knew. I thought I'm getting rejected. So I'm like, I moved in for like our first kiss, rejected. Moving again, rejected.
That's right.
It was 3 times I got rejected for that first kiss. It was crazy.
Wow.
But she knows that men want what they can't have. And she told me that today. She told me that. She goes, that is why I did that. And I'm like, what?
That's meta.
Wow.
That is
but I didn't think that deep.
Meta.
I was very much like, okay, I'm just getting rejected. Who cares?
Who cares? You stayed on it.
Stay the course. Now John Tom.
Course.
Now John Tom is a business coach client, a former intern. And he has some tough questions for you, Z. He can ask any question to you that he wants. There's nothing's out of bounds.
I just want to wrap up that thought with.
Yeah.
I bet you didn't reject your kisses now.
Oh, well. That's right. That's why we have 5 kids. Yeah.
Come on.
We'd have 10 if I wasn't forced to have a vasectomy.
All right, John Tom.
700 kids.
All right. So as the business grows and I'm wanting to begin delegating tasks to others involved in my business, how do I prioritize which systems to develop first?
They're the ones you want to delegate. In order to delegate, you have to make sure that the system is written down, it's tried and true, that you know you can hand it off to somebody, and that it's going to work. Because
you can't delegate something that doesn't work because you haven't done it.
Thank you. And you have to write it down. It has to be something legible, and it has to be the steps that they need to do.
So many clients will want to, not our clients, but other people's clients, they'll want to delegate, hey, make cold calls, but they're using a script that's never been proven to work.
Right. Or they don't even tell them what to do. They go, cold call. Yeah, you just call people.
It's got to work. It's got to be done effectively and documented. Then you can delegate. Done effectively and documented. Then you can delegate. 3D, baby.
Boom,
Done,
boom.
documented, delegated. 3D. Next question.
Is it more important to get out of debt as quickly as possible or to continue minimal payments on the debt and use the funds we are earning now to reinvest into the business to generate a higher volume of revenue faster?
Reinvest.
Now, look, if you were a country called the United States of America, you would also want to reinvest.
So what you're saying is that's the most American thing he could do.
Z, back to you.
Absolutely. The mindset, and I know it's lovely to think I'm debt free.
Debt free, baby.
I'm debt free.
Debt free.
The day I'm debt free is the day I'm not out there charging.
Oh.
You want to use other people's money. honey. You want to charge. You want to build. You want to grow. You want to. What you put into it today is going to pay much more dividends than just saying, you know what, I'm going to hunker down. I'm not going to grow. I'm just going to get down my
Can I
debts.
just let a moment occur real quick? I want to have a moment. I want to have a moment. I watched that Tony Robbins
like
on
a
Netflix
Yeah.
where he says, "We just had a moment." So I'm gonna let the silence be the teacher here. Here we go. Selah. Back to you, John Tom.
Okay.
Next question.
Next question. My question to you, Dr. Zellner, is...
Hold on. Not a tough one. Not a tough one.
Coming in high. I have no idea what he's going to ask, by the way.
It's going to be too tough.
So I find myself spending a large amount of time editing the projects for clients who are wanting very specific things different on their videos than what are offered in our initial packages.
Okay.
They're wanting different. So should I pull the brakes on what they're doing to begin to earn time freedom, or should I start to try and find a way to systemize everyone's different little needs so I could get as many clients as possible?
Here's what you need to do. You need to make different packages, and the more they go off package, the more expensive it gets, number one.
Ooh.
Okay? Number two, each one of those packages has a system, so you're no surprise.
A system.
Someone could come up with something unique, and guess what? Unique is more money.
More the money.
More the money. So once you get the systems down, you go, okay, I've done this now for 10 months. These are the packages. These are the ones that make sense. This takes the most work, so therefore I'm going to charge the most for it. All right?
Yeah.
Now, if you want some custom that I don't offer, because I offer A through B through C through D through E, you name them cool names. Don't do like Clay, trying to sell wedding packages to women and name them all after like Star Wars creatures. You know?
That was a poor decision early on in my career. Yeah.
Or after minerals. Do you want the gold platinum package, ma'am? No, you want to name them flowers and something.
Now, Z, for any other questions that the Thrive Nation has, they can go to thrivetimeshow.com for the podcast, the workshops, the one-on-one business coaching, and thousands of videos you can find there, all at thrivetimeshow.com. Without any further ado, 3, 2, 1, boom!